All right. So I found this new one. It's this is the podcast where we go down the fundamentalist YouTube rabbit hole and just kind of laugh and cry, all at the same time as we see just how extreme the religious right can be. And so this is a manly man one. This is one of the manly men. These are becoming increasingly more common. That these manly men are, telling you that you need to be more manly. And then everybody's trying to make men so feminine and everything. Like it's one of those. It's in that thread of nonsense, which I think we can all tell easily that it's definitely nonsense. So let's jump right into it. Let's see what's going on here.
Now, what you need to understand is that it starts with us men. There's a huge attack on the normal, healthy family structure.
Parents spoke out at a school board meeting hearing about.
They say the same stuff over and over and over again. It's insane.
Child's class being shown a movie with a gay character in it.
They want to make men more feminine and they want to make women more masculine.
It's a view that celebrates
Who
destructive
wants that?
and toxic.
It's funny because they're acting like that. They're acting like we want to change the people that already exist. Guess what? Those people already exist, man. We don't need to make them or push them into existence or make it so that women that are womanly are less so and men that are manly are less so. We don't need to do that. They already exist. There is plenty of women who are, more manly as far as like what would be accepted on that spectrum, or it's just, the spectrum is very wide. But they act like we're trying to change people. We're not trying to change anybody. We're just acknowledging that these people exist and being like, yeah, and that's okay. And he's like, God, they're trying to kill everything, trying to kill, trying to get rid of the manly men and the womanly women.
Behavior and hurts so many.
Your perceptions of the truth doesn't change the truth itself.
They have identified 31 gender identities.
Think how crazy this.
It's okay. It is a spectrum, right? It's not. So I mean, I honestly think that we could just say like gender queer or something along those lines, or just non-binary, because the spectrum is so wide. So I don't, they keep on bringing up, oh, they've got all these genders. Honestly, I've never heard of them, but like if somebody just tells me like how they identify and like, I'm just like, okay, cool. So what, whatever. But it's just kind of funny that they keep on bringing this up. It's like, oh, there's so many genders, as if it's some kind of evil thing, first of all. But second of all, I don't even think it's something that most of us really even focus on. Even those of us that are on the left that are in the queer community, I don't really hear much talk about all these different genders other than trans man, trans woman, non-binary. Those are the main ones, as far as I could tell. Anyway, here we go.
This world will become. They want you to be confused about what it means to be a good man.
What? Who wants you to be confused about what it means to be a good man? It's just anybody that's not you or anybody that doesn't share your ideology. I don't know, man. Shit is so
a lot of people are falling for this.
What is with all this like it's like it's like ridiculous. Oh, this is Satan. Okay. So now I guess without any introduction whatsoever, he's just showing Satan Con 23. This just happened a little bit ago. And yeah, everybody panicked about Satan Con. I love how much this freaks them out, man. They are just terrified of these people. And it is delightful.
Hey guys, my blood is boiling. But before I just say another word, watch this.
So Target has hired Eric, a self-proclaimed gay trans man, to design some of its clothing for Pride Month. He's designed a Satan Respects Pronouns t-shirt gay as hell stickers, and stained glass windows with the words trans bodies are holy.
You're at Target because I heard that their new Pride.
Hold on, but they're not. Those things aren't being sold at Target. They see how they like sneak it in. He's just a person who works there, or that they hired to take some of the merch that he's created, and the ones that they picked, that Target picked, it was like super mild. Like, I mean, it was like I think it was like too queer for here, and it shows a alien spaceship like taking off, and I think that's it. I think there was like maybe one other one that was just like a flag thing, a pride flag. But yeah, they didn't actually sell any of his satanic stuff, even though yes, he does have some like satanic imagery and everything, but Target wasn't selling any of that stuff. That was just from his private collection on his page where you can go, you'd have to go seek it out, in other words.
Collection was out. So let's take a look. This is a special swimsuit. It is invented for tucking. Live, laugh, lesbian.
But by the way, that was just in the adult section. They keep on acting like they are putting the tuck friendly. Not that it would matter as far as I can tell. Who gives a shit? Why can't they sell tuck friendly clothes? Who gives a shit? But they're freaking out about that, saying that it's in the kids aisle. It wasn't in the kids aisle. They just keep lying about it. But either way, who fucking cares?
This right here. These are baby clothes. They say that grooming isn't happening. Then why are there pride baby onesies? Kids going to a
so what?
Pride parade. You get a little pride skirt for your kid. Super queer. It's like a superpower.
They're going after your kids. And if you don't believe me, the U.S. Department of Education this morning, June 1st, Pride Month, posted on Twitter, everyone in the school community should feel valued for who they are and free to be their authentic self. Our message to the LGBTQIA.
Well, imagine being like, she's like saying that like this is a bad thing. Imagine saying that is like a terrible thing. Everybody should be, hey, you know what? No, fuck. Everybody should hate themselves, and everybody should not ever accept anybody else. That's what they should. That's what this should say. What the hell are you doing?
And staff, as we begin Pride Month, is the Education Department has got your back.
So what? Like, there are queer people that work in the school department. There are queer people that go to school. Like, it's a public resource. Like, it's gonna have people. Like, it needs to be like signal to this group of people, the queer community, to say, hey, we see you. We know you're here. We just want to say hey, and we're cool with you and everything, because people like you exist. Okay, that hate the queer community completely, right? So they need some kind of signal to let the queer community know, hey, this is actually okay. Like, there are people here that still support our ability to be alive and exist, in the public school spectrum, right?
We begin with the violent protests outside a school board meeting in Glendale, California.
They need to stop asking little children what they sexually identify as. Children are not sexual beings, nor should they be. The sexualization of children is pedophilia.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm completely against the law that they're trying to pass to teach little kids in the school, 6 years old, to decide about sexual things they don't even know.
Gender identity is not sexual. I don't know why they keep on just wanting to just make that equivalent to everything else. That's not the case. If you are, it's so uncommon. Like, it's unbelievable. Who gives a shit? Like, if somebody wants to, if they're, wants to identify that way or feels that's what's right for them, they should be allowed to do that. This is insane. Why is this such a fucking crazy thing that and they turn it all into like, oh, pedophile. Like, it's the exact same thing that they've done forever. It's so obnoxious.
What's going on? Teaching a 6-year-old about sexuality. I mean, this should be common sense. But if you feel similar to those parents and you want to say in your child's education, you might get put on a hate group list.
We begin.
Yeah, because we don't know if you're going to try to like hurt somebody, man. Y'all hate an entire group of people, and I mean, multiple groups of people, to be honest. You hate like these groups of people, and then you also love firearms. Yeah, it's a good idea to be a little bit cautious around psycho-fascists that hate queer people. Just saying, okay?
Ford. So Ford has decided for Pride Month, they're going to release a rainbow Ford F-150.
When I think about queer, I kind of think that it's unique in our own special way.
Disney has decided they have to have pride collections at Disneyland. That you can't be called princesses or princes at Disneyland anymore because obviously the magic of childhood has to be removed. You never know when a boy is a girl and a girl is a boy. So Adidas.
Who fucking... It's crazy how much they care about this. Like, you're saying that they're not allowed to even sell stuff to people that you don't like. Like, the people that you don't approve of. Really, man? Like, you're saying, like, how dare they sell something to queer people?
That is a lot of chest hair for a man dressed as a woman in a women's bathing suit.
Next tonight, let us pray. Our Father, sorry, not anymore, our non-gendered parent who art in heaven. That sound right to you? In a break the centuries of tradition, the Church of England is debating whether to stop referring to God as a he by introducing gender-neutral pronouns in prayers.
Yeah, recently in Florida, a
Well,
parent spoke out at a school board.
I mean, he is made up, okay? He's completely made up. So who really gives a shit? You can just decide that the gender is anything.
Meeting hearing about her
He's
child's
he's
class
not
being
real.
shown a movie with a gay character in it, and the teacher of that class responded to those complaints. Look at this.
Allowing movies such as this assist teachers in opening a door for conversations that have no place in our classrooms.
These conversations, these doors that she's talking about, that's telling me I'm stripping her rights as a parent, those rights are gone when your child's in the public school system.
What?
Those rights are gone when you put your kids in the public... I'm sorry, what?
Okay, on to North Face. North Face is all about tough outdoor wear, right? You're gonna go climb a mountain.
When I mean, I think what she's trying to say was that, like, when you put your kid in the public sphere, you don't get to decide what other people should and should not get to do. You are there. It's like a Christian can't say that no Muslims are allowed to be in their class, and like so on and so forth. You can't say there's no Buddhists, and even though Christians are the majority, they don't get to decide everything for everybody else. Okay, and there's kids in there that might be queer themselves, or they might have queer parents. There's nothing wrong with the school advocating for that group of people, or saying that, hey, yeah, we stand with you too. You're safe here, because again, we don't really know where we're safe. The queer community does not know where they are not welcome. All of a sudden, people are just there hating us. Specifically more, less passing queer folks. I'm pretty lucky.
Wearing North Face, or alternatively, you're going to be a dude who dresses up in ladies' clothing and gallivants through the forest while
I guess I
holding
should have
ATV.
put
Bud Light has
I guess I should have put a trigger warning on this. They're just misgendering everybody all over the place, so I apologize.
taken it directly on the chin ever since they decided that they were going to make Dylan Mulvaney the face of their brand. It was April 1st. And I remember seeing this online. I thought, this has to be April Fool's. I mean, it has to be April Fool's.
I'm going to show you a lot more clips in this video that will shock you to your core, to show you that these people are
Why does this
changing
guy
the
remind me of like a bad guy in a Van Damme movie or something? he seems like a Kmart Van Damme bad guy.
world as we know it.
Okay, this is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means.
What did it say? You didn't see what it said. What is it? And this is so crazy. Like, why do you get to decide what a department store sells, man? They're not even allowed. So, like, queer folks are not even allowed to go to Target and buy something for themselves. Like, they're not allowed to be sold stuff to. Like, this is insane. This is like me going into fucking, where do I always see this shit? Big Lots. I think it's Big Lots, right? And I go in that place and I see their little fucking Christian section in the back and be like, look, everybody. Hey, look, atheist community. The Big Lots is selling fucking crosses. Can you fucking believe who do they think they are selling crosses? That's torture murder. Children come in here. Children come in and they see this cross, this torture device that is all about stripping people's skin off. Disgusting. Like, imagine me doing that, and then filming myself doing it, and then actually getting people to go, hey, yeah, we need to like stop shopping there, to the point where it actually hurts their revenue stream. It's insane. Oh, hey, Spooky. What's up? watching a manly man video. This guy, you know, freaking out about queer people existing. So that's what we're doing.
And I'm so happy that you're queer in the kids section. Are you kidding?
Dude, what? There are queer kids with parents. No, I'm not kidding you, you fucking ass. Like, yes, there are queer folks with you know, there are queer kids, and then there are queer kids that with queer parents. Who gives a fuck, man?
So I got an
Jesus.
extra small swimsuit in the child section. Says light binding effect on it. And then the bottoms in the kids section, keep in mind, say tuck friendly construction.
Yeah, this was a lie. They like basically proved that that was not true. Every bunch of people went there and were like, no, it's not in the kids section. It never was. She's pulling stuff out of other sections. Well, I think it's just a pride section, and there are kids stuff in that section or whatever, but it's all sort of together, right? But it's not in the kids section. That's just kids stuff in that section too. It'd be like if there was a I don't even know. Like if there was some sports section, right? And there was some kids sports shirts in that section too, or like a Super Bowl section or something like that. That's what would, you know. But she's taking it as like, oh, you know, they're literally trying to hurt our children or whatever because there's clothes in here for them.
They're giving it to your kids. If that doesn't give you a reason to boycott Target, I don't know what does. But they're getting out of hand. They're targeting children, whether you like it or not. And it's time that people actually do something about
Targeting.
Why are so many companies going woke?
Nobody's targeting your children, man. It's just there's children that already exist that have queer family and friends and might be queer themselves. My goodness, relax. You don't get to decide what everybody else is allowed to buy, for fuck's sake, and where they're allowed to buy it. How fucking entitled are these snowflake brats? I can't. It's just like it makes my mind hurt how fucking entitled they are. They want to talk about how lazy and entitled all the, you know, the poors are that want their handouts from the government. They can't even go into a fucking department store without deciding that other people should not be allowed to shop there. And if they are allowed to shop there, they're not allowed to be marketed to as far as anything goes, even in the month that celebrates their existence.
There had to be some reason. And after some digging, I found it. The CEI, Corporate Equality Index, aka the woke credit score. It's a made-up score based on how much a company is pushing woke issues. And who made up and gives this score?
Honestly, this one kind of irritates me too, just because. No, I mean, I think it's actually a decent thing to do, and I guarantee there's a fucking right-wing version of it, you know. But it irritates me because it's like a capitalism thing. It's like, hey, where can we go spend our money to be, you know, socially like clear our consciousness and like also buy as much stuff as humanly possible. Oh, look, hey, there's a credit score for it. Here, spend your money here, kids. It screams of disingenuousness as far as like being socially conscious. You know what I mean?
An organization called the HRC, a massive political lobbying group. Apparently, HRC sends representatives to corporations every year, telling them the kind of stuff they have to make.
What is with this music? That's like, oh, it's so sad. Oh man, it just breaks my heart that there are people out there rating companies for how you know, kind they are, good, willing to like market stuff to people that other people hate for whatever reason. Like, you know, it's like,
visible at the company. Give them a list of demands, and if they don't follow through, there's a threat that they won't keep their CEI credit score. And why do companies even care about this made-up woke credit rating?
If they get a bad score, then the woke investor funds start putting pressure on the boards. Woke activists.
where did they get this shit? Like, what? I highly doubt any of this is real. I think that there is some kind of credit score, right? And it's just to let people know that like don't want to spend their money at places that are like all out bigoted, like the Hobby Lobby and stuff like that, you know, and Chick-fil-A or whatever, like these other like places where they know that their money is going towards hate groups. They might want to shop someplace where their money doesn't, you know, get funneled to a hate group. Right. So it makes sense in that, but like all this extra shit, they put pressure on you, they do this and that, they force you to be like, give me a fucking break, prove it or fuck off.
Out in the streets, advertising campaigns are shut down. Anyone that continues to do business with them will also be penalized.
Well, how do they do all this stuff simultaneously? So they're simultaneously laughing that Target and Bud Light and all that are losing money because of how hateful they are, and they run up and go, "I'm going to take my money elsewhere," blah, 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 and that works, and they're all laughing, "Good, good, they deserve it, good," they're doing that, but then they can simultaneously be like, "Oh, but the businesses will crumble if they don't cave to the woke police." Like, which is it, man? Are you happy that you're actually able to hurt a company because they actually are okay with queer folks or not? Because this is making it sound like the opposite is true. Like the wokeness is so powerful it can shut down your whole company. But that's not what we're seeing at all. We're seeing the exact opposite. We're seeing the bigots are freaking out so much and getting companies to actually lose revenue because of it.
Is fascism.
It just shows how
don't get their investment. And who is funding the HRC? Surprise, surprise, it's George Soros's Open Society Foundation.
Oh my fucking
Now,
God.
this HRC has introduced this arbitrary credit rating to everything. States, municipalities, and even schools. Imagine that. There are people who are deciding what credit score an individual school can get. They threaten them by having these big funds withhold investments into them.
Withholding money from them. They're threatening them with not giving them money, extra money. How was that a threat? You don't it shouldn't it be like an opposite, like we'll give you money if you do a thing? Like that's how they, but no, they're like holding them hostage by not giving them money.
Evil, I actually almost don't know where to begin this video because these evil people given over to their crazy debased minds want to force their beliefs onto you and your children, manipulating.
Dude, that's you, man. You're the one that wants to force people to not even be sold stuff at Target, okay?
And controlling your lives. There's a quote that says, controllers, abusers, and manipulative people don't question themselves. They don't ask themselves.
Do you think you're questioning yourself a whole lot? Like, you think you're asking yourself, like, hey, maybe I'm wrong about all this? Maybe I'm just a hateful bigot that's being manipulated because of my insecurity as far as my masculinity goes? You think all that? No, never. No, of course.
They always say the problem is someone else. No, what you need to understand is that it starts with us men.
Wow.
Let me explain. There's a
He's that so unself-aware. Like it's wow. I've just never
attack on the normal, healthy family structure. A good man, a good woman, and good children.
What does that even mean?
Morals and values.
A good man, a good woman, and good children. Like what makes them good or bad? Like I don't understand what you mean by like they're your religion. Is that what makes them good or bad?
Healthy family structure.
And here's the thing: nobody's against the family structure. I'm so tired of them saying that, oh, they're destroying the family structure. They're destroying it. No, man. Every time a gay couple gets married, a fucking straight family doesn't blow up. Like, what are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense. Jesus, that would. I mean,
I want to break this healthy
there.
family structure down because if you have broken families, you have broken societies. And it all mostly starts by...
So as long as you just decide to just white knuckle this shit and be as miserable as possible and stay with that abusive guy, no matter what, because, that's what's important for society, I guess, sort of, maybe. Like, even though, and keep in mind now, they can't even do their way of life anymore because of the things they have done to the government and to our society to basically make it so that we can't live their little American dream anymore. Like it used to be that a man could just go to work and provide for an entire family with multiple kids. That is a fucking pipe dream at this point. Now it's like women have to work, right? And so because women have to work, they deserve to get paid equal wages. Not just because of that, they deserve that anyway, but you're forcing them into the workplace, then judging them for doing it. It's insane,
Attacking the man. They want you to be confused about what it means to be a good man with good values and good morals. To be confused about what your roles and your responsibilities are as a man. like being a good husband, a good father, a good
Yeah, we're all against that stuff, man. We were just so against being a good husband and a good father. That shit, that's just some bullshit. You know what? You should be a bad father. Like, what the fuck are you talking?
son, a good brother, and the list goes on.
Makes
There
no
is an
sense.
attack on what it means to be a man, on masculinity. I'm going to cover a few things here, but first, check out this video.
Day 66, being a girl, and today I'm in
Oh, hey.
nature. Trees.
Hey, the gang's all here. What's up? Hell yeah. Hey.
I love them.
Man, they hate the Mulvaney here. Like, I don't know why they've chosen to just hate this person, like, with everything they've got. They seem pretty fun to me. I don't know. They just seem like a fun
brakes,
person.
I love them. Heels, they're my hiking heels. I love them. Bridges, love them.
She just loves stuff. I don't see what's wrong with this.
Not an ad, just love it.
That is not what women are like. I think it's very disrespectful
What?
against women.
Oh, that's the way that woman is like. Like, what? I don't know what
because women are a lot more than that.
Wow, this dude is furious. Like, he is so angry. Like, I'm surprised he's not like getting spittle all over the fucking camera right now.
Excuse me, ma'am. No porn at the bar.
Oh, it's okay. I'm transgender.
Oh, I had no idea. Do whatever you want all the time.
This is what's happening. These people are victimizing them.
Jeez Louise. Of course, Family Guy would do something like that. That's right in their fucking wheelhouse to be assholes like that. That's not true, by the way. Don't let trans people like just do whatever they want all the time. That's not right. But we do let them be who they are and live their lives, as such, as long as they're not hurting anybody, just like anybody else.
Themselves, so that people can just let go and let these people do whatever they want. That is their agenda. They're not victims. They are actually treated like...
Oh, that's right. Jasper says, I'm a new subscriber. Thank you so much for that, by the way. To the channel. The demons video brought me here. And I know that is very nice and everything. I appreciate it. But the hilarious thing is there are so many demon ones that I have no idea which one you're talking about. Because it's like every fifth video. Because all I do is I have a dummy account and I just go through and let the algorithm, the fundamentalist algorithm, just shoot me stuff. It ends up being a lot of demon stuff. I don't know why. It's just that's the direction that it's pushed me in, and I'm not fighting it. I kind of like it, But thank you so much for watching. Wow. Okay. So we made it to 200. All right. Man, it's going quick now. I gotta say, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. That is actually a huge landmark for me. So that's awesome.
Like royalty in today's world.
Do you agree with? I mean, obviously you do. There is a massive shortage of even knowing what a man is supposed to be in today's world.
There's no question. I mean, I actually wrote the book. Everybody knows that manhood's in crisis in our generation.
Like all of us, ideas of masculinity are evolving. Today, you may get a deserved side eye if you say,
dude, nobody is against men being manly or whatever that means specifically. We're fine with it. Be as manly as you want. Grow out a big beard. Drive a fucking truck. I don't give a shit, man. Nobody does, right? But don't fuck with other people, man. That's all I'm saying. Like, let if trans people want to exist in the same like city as you, leave them the fuck alone. That's all we're saying. Okay. And if there's some guy that's not as manly as you, maybe he can't grow a beard because it doesn't fucking grow other than just right here in my goddamn face. Maybe that, and just let me be as manly as, let that person, not me, be as manly as they are. Okay. And don't be pressuring me to grow stuff I don't have. Them fucking
things that used to be commonplace, like real men don't cry or boys will be boys. Waves of feminist critique and the Me Too movement have called out behavior that used to enjoy impunity and now faces greater demands for accountability. Today, the view that you're only a real man if you're dominant or aggressive is thankfully on the defensive. And thank you for that. It's a view that celebrates destructive and toxic behavior and hurts so many, and not just women. The phrase toxic masculinity might once have been reserved for the fringes of the national conversation, but increasingly in schools and workplaces and on media outlets like this one, it is a conversation we are having together.
They've tried it.
And you came to prominence.
Yeah, I mean, and to that, you know, I mean, to that end, I think that like it's not changing necessarily, right? It's just saying, hey, the harm that you do is real. Like, honestly, you can be as manly as you want. Just don't hurt people, man. I don't know why that's difficult for people to say. You know, you can do whatever you want. Just don't hurt other people. If you want to, you know, be a lumberjack and be outside cutting wood and maybe even carry your axe around with you on your back, you know, and I don't even know, maybe just go carry around a piece of wood just to chop anytime you start feeling a little insecure, you know, I don't do whatever you want. Okay. But stop hurting other people. That's the main thing we got going on here as far as like toxic masculinity. The toxic part is the qualifier. Like that's how that works. They're not saying that all masculinity is toxic. They're saying that there is a kind of masculinity that is toxic. And it is when men put all this pressure on themselves to be what they think is expected of them as far as manliness goes. And then they put that same pressure on other people. That's what makes it toxic. Just be yourself and leave people alone.
In part over your opposition to this law that we just talked about in Canada, proposing the use of preferred pronouns for transgender people. Just for clarity.
Mandating them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what does that mean though, man? Like, I don't know what you mean. Kids need real fathers. So let's be, he said kids need real fathers. I agree. Oh wait, I mean, I think kids need real parents that care about them and love them. I don't know what you mean real fathers. Are you saying something against trans folks? Or are you saying like what? But yeah, I mean, kids, you know, needing parents that love them, preferably two, if you can, you know, that's what we really, you know, would be best. But a lot of times that's just not possible without it being a worse situation. So in those cases, I would say, you know, that it's better it's the best path is what's best for the kids. And if it's a toxic environment with the parents being together, okay, well then it's time to go. But like, if not, you know, stay together for the kids or whatever. Do what you got to do to give the best life to the kids as possible. But it doesn't have anything to do with masculinity. I don't know what. Okay. They say fathers today are weak and woke. I don't know what that means. Well, in what way? Because they're not beating their children like they used to. They're not drinking lead paint and getting insane, you know, and beating everybody up. I like, I don't know what you mean, man. As far as I can tell, it's a better world when people are more sensitive. You know, it's a better world when more people are more aware of what is upsetting and hurtful to other people and then try not to do that. It's really crazy that I even have to say something like that. And I know I'm about to be attacked for it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Fuck everybody, trying not to hurt everybody. You know, just go fuck yourself, bud. All right, where we should be out here hurting everybody. Like that's
saying that you should do it.
No, that you had to do it.
Right, you had to do it by law. But just for clarity, do you think a trans woman is a real woman?
I don't really like the way those questions are formulated. Now, I don't know what that means. What do you mean a real woman?
Well, I'm asking you, in your mind, you know, it depends what you think a real woman is, but do you think a trans woman
I mean, I feel
is
like
a woman?
this is almost just a shitty way to ask that question. And you know, it's just, I don't know. It seems weird to be asking it in that way. I don't know. It almost feels like it's trying to use use trans folks as like some kind of way to get clicks and views and stuff like that. I don't know, but
no.
Why not?
Because I think that women are capable, generally speaking, of having babies, and they have female genitalia, and they have an XX chromosome, and I think that
all of those things are just like he said, generally, and generally that is true, right? Generally, that is the fact, but some of the time it's not. Some of the time, women born with female genitalia have XY chromosomes, right? Sometimes those people, those same people aren't born with a womb. Sometimes those people have higher testosterone. Sometimes none of this is standard. They say that 1 to 2%, that's 1 to 2 people out of every 100 people are intersex, right? That means something about them, their biological sex does not line up, right? They might be born with female genitalia, but have XY chromosomes. That is an intersex person. You can't even really tell just from looking at them, right? But they do have XY chromosomes and they were born that way. And that is 1 to 2% of the population. Trans folks make up 0.03 to 6% of the population. Okay. That's like 1 or 2 out of what, like 30 or 40 people? Or I'm sorry, 30 or 400. I don't know, 300 or 400, something like that. There's like a couple people. It's hardly anyone. Okay. And it's far fewer people, sorry, than what is intersex, which is has completely to do with the makeup of the body and has nothing to do with the psychology of it. But people don't care about any of that stuff.
Biological markers are relevant. Doesn't necessarily mean that I don't think that people should be treated with respect and dignity if they happen not to fit easily into a gender category. That's a different issue.
You see,
is it?
They're compelling speech now. They've never done this before. If you look in history, they're taking away your freedom. You can even be fined now for not addressing someone with the right pronouns.
No, that's not right.
As I suggested earlier,
it's if you harass somebody and continually do that.
in New York City, they have identified 31 gender identities, and apparently the law down there suggests that if businesses don't accommodate an individual's chosen gender identity, there is the risk of a 6-figure fine under the rules of the city's Commissioner of Human Rights. We have in the province of Ontario our own Ontario Human Rights Commission.
Wait, where was that? So that's in Canada, right? Like that's okay, because I was gonna say that's not happening here, as far as I know.
A lot of people are falling for this because they make it an emotional issue where it's actually not.
I hope this person's kidding. Demon rats are corrupting your kids. Oh God. Yeah, you know what you should be? You should be a Republican and just hand your kids an AR-15 and tell them to go outside and play. Because that's good. And tell them to hate everybody but love guns. That's what kids really need. Fucking idiot.
No. They want to put new laws in place. You need to be careful and look out for this because they want to put these laws in place and they want to mask it with a big show of compassion. Now, before I continue, let me just make this clear. I do agree that toxic masculinity is wrong. I hope you have.
I thought you were just hold on. I thought he just said that he doesn't believe in toxic masculinity. He was that because he didn't understand that toxic was a qualifier for a kind of masculinity.
What toxic masculinity is.
Well,
I believe it is wrong when men want to dominate others through force, beating other men or women to a pulp, or beating their own children to a pulp.
It's crazy.
Some of these men feeling
like, dude, is this really necessary to even have to say? Like, look, hey, I just think that men shouldn't, beat the fuck out of everybody. Like, what? Really? Oh, okay. Well, good then. That's good to know. I was thinking for a second that you weren't believing that, but it's glad to know that you do.
That they should never talk about their emotions or even cry. But we are not women either. We need to live a balanced, healthy life as men for ourselves, for our family.
No one's taking that away from you. Dude, you can live any fucking way you want. Okay? Except the only thing you can't do is tell other people how to live. That's it. This is not difficult.
Because you see, if we're responsible masculinity overcomes toxic masculinity. So there is a balance.
What? You can be toxic and responsible. Unfortunately, all the bills can be paid and everything, and also, be mistreating people all the time. Unless he means something else by responsible. I'm taking it like a fiscally, I'm taking it from the fiscal angle there.
There is an extreme of toxic masculinity that's dangerous. Then there's the other extreme of being, not having a balanced life, being too feminine and too emotional all the time, being controlled by our emotions. Then we are no different than animals. If we're just controlled slaves to our emotions,
technically we are animals, but we have opposable thumbs and the ability to reason. That's it. That's the only thing that sets us apart.
Crazy this world will become if men live this way. No, we need to have self-control, self-discipline, because only animals give in to their emotions all the time and do whatever they want all the time.
Why masculinity as your new big issue? Well, I think what the left is doing is attacking America. They're saying that America is systemically oppressive and men are systemically responsible.
This dude is hilarious. Like that, he was the one that was like fist pumping when when they were like, destroying the Capitol to everybody. And then as soon as like they got to the room where he was running out, like flailing his arms, like he looked like Woody, like Woody running in Toy Story. It's awesome.
Closely at what is happening around the world, you will see that he is right.
Okay.
Now, if you look carefully,
Wow, every single thing that he has played has been some like right-wing source that is just so like so demonstrably bad. Like all these sources are just like terribly they don't have any validity to them. They're just not good sources. They're entertainment news. Every single one of these that he's shown is entertainment news. None of which are even the ones that he played with the left. From the left, I wouldn't take as being the best. Like MSNBC, while I myself appreciate that one more than most, as far as like just sitting and watching, and everything. But as far as like getting news, that's not the best one either. That's like very far left. And then this one's very far right. Does he know how to find a fucking center of the like source, it's for his information? Because it seems like he's not even trying. And honestly, if y'all out there don't like, if you want to know how to get some of the best information like that, go to other countries. Go to BBC. BBC is actually really good because they get sued if they get anything wrong, or if it looks like they're trying to take a side, right? If someone can prove that they're not being fair or whatever, they get sued. Or not get sued. I'm sorry, they get fined. It's against the law. So definitely always check out BBC. Not to mention they do retractions. That's like the main way you can tell if a news source is legitimate. Look through, see if there's any retractions. If there's no retractions, then they're never admitting that they're wrong and they're fucking lying, because that's not the way anything works. Of course they're going to be wrong sometimes. So BBC is probably one of the best ones. Other one is, I want to say the New York Times. Was it the New York Times? Is like one of the best as far as just being fair and balanced and like just giving you the information that you need. And I mean, they'll have opinion pieces on like other side, but it says opinion on it, So anyway.
carefully, you'll notice that political and media leaders on the left are slowly chipping away at this idea of masculinity. In other words, what it means to be a man. Don't believe me? Well, check out this discussion of school shooters on MSNBC.
Who's been told to
See, MSNBC, it's like Fox News versus MSNBC, like that, because they basically are each other, just on the opposite side.
What does that mean?
No clue. I got no idea. No emotion.
Yeah. What's the hardest part about growing up for boys?
Hiding the pain. Yeah. Not being able to express yourself.
Again, there is a balance. The one extreme is you just give into your emotions, you're a slave to your feelings, and you just cry and complain about everything. You don't have a backbone to stand up for what is right. And instead of just doing what needs to be done to get things done, instead you just sit back and complain about everything, playing the victim. The other one is that you are...
I hate it when they do shit like that, because like, and of course it's some white guy saying that, because everybody else that has any issues that aren't exactly his, because I guarantee when it's his issues, then he's not just complaining, right? It's when everybody else is explaining what their issues are, they're just complaining. It couldn't possibly be the case that, hey, maybe there was nothing they could do. It's and if they could do something, okay, well, they missed that opportunity, right? It's just, there's no point in looking back and being like, oh man, they're just whiny bitches over here. Like, it's just so stupid how they work like that.
Toxic. You want to do things with violence all the time. You beat women, you beat children, you beat other men, and you never talk about your emotions. Not one of those two is real masculinity. Check it out.
How are you? Let's talk about this. Like when I hear these
Yeah, let's go to
attacks on
Ingram. That's where you're going to
masculinity,
get a
I
well-rounded.
hear the left equating masculine, what it means to be masculine, with abusive or criminality.
That specific MSNBC segment was talking about is the fact that rigid gender roles, specifically in boys, are tied to higher rates of suicide, substance abuse, violence. So
Yeah, because okay, here's what happens. Here's why, and I think they're leaving out some core, like really key aspects here. The reason that they're saying this is because men that have all these crazy expectations to be extra masculine and put all the weight of the world on their shoulders, and they can never admit that they're having a hard time with anything. They put that on their kids, right? So the young boys that they're raising get abused. It is abuse when they push that kind of mentality on their children. It is abusive. Like it ends like they're putting all that weight on themselves. So then by extension, they start putting it on the child, and and they end up getting like abuse. I mean, I don't know. I mean, know that several, me and several other of my friends were abused by our parents that were trying to be super masculine and have all this pressure on them to be perfect and never be allowed to ever feel anything or being allowed to ever complain or say that anything was not their fault because everything's your fault if you're a man, according to the like old-timey masculinity standards, because that's why it's bullshit that like men are supposed to be the head of the household. That means everything is on their shoulders and everything is on their head, and that's not the way it should work. It should be a team effort, and everybody is helping out to try to take some of the weight from everybody else. Like you're not trying to like just be the one that's getting hit all the time and then putting all that pressure on yourself, and then because of all that pressure, then you start mistreating the people around you because you shouldn't be putting all that pressure on it. Anyway, it's a whole thing. But then they put that pressure on their children. That's why and then that leads to anxiety, suicide, stuff like that.
it's basically saying that these gender roles are creating an environment in which men and boys feel that they can't express themselves, which they have to be.
But Julie, how is that connected? Gender, I mean, we've had gender roles for, I don't know, millennia.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, well, gender roles are causing boys to commit suicide. Well, maybe there's a lot of societal factors involved.
It's almost like she's like, yeah, just gender roles in general. Yeah, man, because it's not, they've changed over time. Like, you got to look at the specifics of what those gender roles are. It's not necessarily just that there's gender roles. Like, so weird.
Drug abuse, in promiscuity, in shaming, in substance abuse of other types, addictions.
Yeah, there are many other factors that we can include here, but these people.
Yeah, people tend to turn to like addictive substances and whatnot when they're putting a lot of fucking pressure on themselves, man. Like, why do you think they want to do stuff like that? It's because they are putting all that pressure on themselves and they need that release afterwards. And that's what they, that's why they usually get some kind of addictive behavior.
Their agenda, they just want to focus on gender.
I mean, and again, that might not be the case for everybody. I'm just saying that does cause those kinds of behaviors sometimes. There is a lot of the times where those kind of pressures create those bad behavioral loops. I'm not saying that it's 100% of the time. I'm just saying that it's a lot, it can lead to that easily.
All the time. Everywhere you look, there is a backlash against masculinity. And they now view normal masculinity.
Sorry. Yeah, let me blow up this bit easier. Here we go. Yeah, I really do need mods. Andrew is saying, like, I need to get mods. Apparently, you need mods. Some people should not be allowed to run amok inside chats. I know. I don't like when they just start showing up and start trolling the chat. And a lot of times I don't even see it. It's just real quick in passing. But okay, I just banned them so far, so hopefully we'll be good. I've got to actually head out in just a minute here anyway. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, we'll let this dude finish just his next thought, and then we'll go.
The normal identity of a man should now be viewed as toxic. Jordan Peterson also talks about it. Listen.
What's hilarious? I know I'm pausing a lot, but like, what's hilarious about this is that Jordan Peterson is probably the least masculine person on the planet. I mean, just with when it comes down to voices alone, he's like way up here, and he cries all the time. And he's just not, he's not masculine at all. And then the other one that has the same like terrible like outlook on masculinity is Ben Shapiro, who talks way up here, and he just, he thinks it all, and he's like just very not masculine at all. Neither of these people. It's almost as if it's their insecurities that are causing them to have these weird standards for gender. Just saying. Just saying.
I believe that there's a danger in our society at the moment
cool.
of making the assumption that our culture, for example, is
Hey.
a tyrannical patriarchy, which it is in some small part, and that any active engagement on the part of young men in particular is indistinguishable from an unacceptable power and dominance drive, which I don't believe.
But surely
I think all of that is inappropriate and incorrect.
If much of the power and authority over a very long historical period has lain with men, isn't it only inevitable that some men will get a little hacked off when women are given a stab at something approaching equality?
Well, that could be inevitable, but that doesn't make it right, and it's certainly not something that I support. So my
So you think
Yeah, it's almost like the pendulum swings the other way, and it's like, yeah, I mean, that's just gonna happen. Like it swung the opposite way that throughout our entire history. So if it swings a little bit the opposite direction, and it's not much, believe me, but if it goes a little bit overboard on the other side, it's like, okay, whatever, it'll self-correct at some point soon here. That's why we do these things. It's why we have these conversations, right?
Resentment is more important than women's effort to attain equality.
I'm not in favor of resentment at all. I think that if you're resentful, something's definitely wrong. Either you need to grow the
But
hell
dude,
up
you are he is like one of the most resentful people on the planet. He'll get like, and screw you, you woke moralist. Like I can't remember what the name of the video is, but that shit was hilarious.
and take stock of your life, or you have some things to say to people that you haven't been saying.
You say science undoubtedly shows us that men and women have different traits, and there's a lot of science to back you up on that. But you say that because of that, men are hardwired to achieve success and to be successful in a way that women are not.
No, not at all. I've never said anything like that. I've said that there are biological differences between men and women that express themselves in temperament and in occupational choice, and that any attempt to enforce equality of outcome is unwarranted and ill-advised as a consequence.
I fully agree with him here, because equality of outcome is a terrible idea. It will never stop. It will never be fair. So we should focus a lot more on equality when it comes to opportunity. Give everyone the same.
That's what we're doing, man. Like, we're not out here like saying, okay, we got to fire a bunch of guys and then just hire a bunch of women. Like, that's not what we're doing, man. Like, it needs to be equal opportunity, but within those opportunities, they should get paid the same amount, right? I mean, I feel like give them the opportunity, but also pay them the same amount. What the fuck? It's insane.
Opportunity, right?
Which is not happening.
And then you can choose what you want to do. You will always see, if you let people alone, certain men would want to do certain jobs more than other jobs, and women would do certain jobs more than other jobs. And that's okay. Let people just do what they want to do.
That nobody's saying that that's not okay. Like, what do you mean? Like, we're just saying that it doesn't have to be that way. And if there are women that want to do a different kind of job, they should have the same opportunities, make the same amount of money. That's all we're saying. And men, and vice versa too. If a man wants to be a nurse, same thing. That was like, I have a friend that got grant money, who was a man who got grant money to go into nursing because he was a man going into nursing. So this doesn't just work against men the entire time. It's like they completely ignore like so much information just to like prove their point and data mine and cherry pick,
For example, more men might be interested to play rugby or choose engineering as a career path, and more women might choose to be health workers.
Where the fuck is this guy from? Like, playing what, B? What is I don't even know. I'm just kidding. I know what it is.
And that is okay. Look, my view is this. If there's 90% women in a certain career, and we all had the same opportunity, men and women, and that's the outcome, 90% women, they love to do this, then that's fine. If they're great at it, great.
We
all
don't
men would be
disagree
happy
on
with
this.
it. If it's the other way around, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
If everybody had the same opportunity.
Nobody cares. It's just don't make it harder for women to go, and don't like basically say that they can't make the same amount of money. I don't know why this is difficult. He doesn't understand just the basics. But all right, I gotta go. It's after the time that I have to stop. But thank you so much for watching. And you know what you should do? You should go to adamandeve.com and enter code Brentley, and you can get 50% off almost any one item. 3 free gifts. That's one for him, one for her, and one you'll both enjoy. 6 free movies, and free shipping on the entire order. That's put in code Brentley. That's BRENTLY at checkout when you go to adamandeve.com and get your exclusive offer today. All right. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out, and just make sure that you stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate.